Let me start off with a true story that clearly demonstrates this. Tigers show the perfect personality of the Sigma male. They are solitary, self-reliant, and highly efficient. These beasts are not to be messed with, and so are Sigma men. Now this is the true story. This is the story of Vladimir Markov, a Russian poacher who shot a tiger in 1997, and the tiger managed to escape, but it was injured. Naturally, this would have been the end of the story, but no, tigers don't just let go like that. This tiger patiently tracked Markov to his cabin, and the deadly game of wits began between the poacher and the enraged tiger. Markov was careful. He knew that the tiger was after him, but his precaution would not be enough. The tiger eventually got Markov and got his revenge. Markov did not stand a chance even against the wounded lone trooper. This is a cold story and a stern reminder of why Sigmas can be very dangerous. Sigma men are no different. These lone rangers have adapted to be highly efficient at dealing with those who take them for granted. If you have what it takes to be a Mestro, a man who is the best of the best, then you need to hit that subscribe button now. Here are 7 dangerous things Sigma men do when they finally get mad. Number 1. Beware of a Sigma's silence. The silence of the Sigma male is extremely dangerous. It can often be overlooked as a sign of weakness or defeat, but it is not. Just like that tiger that chose to go into stealth mode and get its revenge on the poacher, Sigma men would often choose the smarter option of going silent when they are furious. This helps the Sigma man achieve several things. Going silent gives the Sigma male the chance to take control of his emotions. This is very important for these men. It is impossible to make the best decisions when emotional, so it is always better to be silent than react based on emotions or at the spur of the moment. By doing this, the Sigma man avoids making mistakes that could put him at a disadvantage, and he is able to create a plan of action. But what is most scary about the silence of a Sigma man is the fact that it is impossible to determine what he is thinking and planning. This is what makes these lone wolves very dangerous when they get mad. Moreover, silence possesses an inherent power to disarm. In a world where verbal aggression and raised voices often dominate, withholding words can be a stark contrast that commands attention. It challenges the expectations of those who anticipate an explosive reaction and confounds their attempts to engage in further confrontation. Silence can disorient and bewilder, leaving others to question their own behavior and motives, ultimately prompting them to reconsider their actions. 2. Sigma men serve their revenge cold. Most people try to get retribution immediately after they are offended. They would often react immediately, or even lash out, raging with emotions. This often leads to poor decisions, which Sigma men are wary of making. For this reason, Sigma men don't try to revenge. Well, not immediately and in no obvious way. Rather, they would serve their revenge cold, when it is least expected. This makes these lone wolves particularly dangerous and tricky to handle. But if you understand the Sigma personality, all they want is acknowledgement and for responsibilities to be taken. These men don't take kindly to people who think they can get away with their misbehavior. Sigma men would patiently observe and take their time to get their revenge. It is always advisable to deal with these lone rangers with honesty and responsibility. It is scary when you think about it, just like that tiger that seemed to have accepted its defeat, only for it to show up at the doorstep of the poacher when he least expected it. This tiger had waited about 48 hours to get its revenge, and when the time came, revenge was served cold. Messing with Sigma males is simply never a good idea. They would not let you off the hook easily, and you would be held accountable, even if it takes a long time for them to get that sweet revenge. 3. Sigma men would not hesitate to cut the relationship. Lone wolves have no problem walking out of a relationship and never looking back when they are really pushed against the wall. Instead of managing a relationship that is already bad and devoid of the core values it was supposed to be built upon, Sigma men prefer to simply walk away and burn the bridge. Get a Sigma man mad enough, and he would never open himself up to you ever again. These men are highly disciplined and determined, and once they determine that someone is abusing their relationship, they don't forgive it. They have a strict code of trust, and once this trust is broken, it can never be mended again because Sigma men are extremely principled and they would always remember the issue. This reaction seems extreme, but when you really think about it, being willing to cut some relationships is very important to freedom. Many people find themselves in abusive and exploitative relationships because they are unwilling to move on with their lives. They are too scared to say no or to say it is over. It does not matter who is involved. Sigma men are willing to move on when certain boundaries are crossed. No one is too important to be cut off. For Sigma men, respect, honesty, and commitment is the bedrock of any relationship. Anyone who abuses the trust of a Sigma man does not deserve any form of relationship with him. That is the mantra of these Lone Rangers. 4. They demand accountability and an apology. Sigma men would never shy away from demanding accountability and apology when things go south. This is the last opportunity given to make things right. And this is what makes this move so dangerous, because this could be the last chance to make things right. These men would always try to make things right, not because they are good men, but because they know it is the best thing to do. It is not about morality. It is all about achieving the best result. Being unaccountable and irresponsible would be absolutely rejected by Sigma men. They don't tolerate people who cannot apologize and own up to their mistakes. These men are keen observers of human behavior. They understand that tolerating responsibility enables a culture of excuses and blame shifting. They perceive the danger in allowing individuals to evade the consequences of their actions, as it fosters a sense of entitlement and undermines personal responsibility. Again, it is important to note that when a Sigma man is demanding accountability, it is his nicest way of saying, "I am giving you a last chance to make things right." 5. They draw boundaries. Among the various responses to offense, one approach that can be observed in Sigma men is the drawing of strict boundaries. While this behavior may be misunderstood or even criticized by some, it is essential to recognize the underlying wisdom and thoughtfulness that can motivate such actions. To begin with, Sigma men understand the value of self-respect. They recognize that their emotional well-being and sense of dignity are paramount. By drawing strict boundaries when offended, they assert their right to be treated with respect and demand that their boundaries be acknowledged and upheld. This act of self-preservation allows them to maintain their integrity and self-worth, refusing to compromise their values for the sake of momentary peace. These men make it abundantly clear that they would not tolerate some behaviors, and they would never compromise on their principles. Sigma men understand that they have a responsibility to protect their mental and emotional well-being, and by drawing strict boundaries, they create a safe space where they can heal, grow, and thrive. They prioritize their mental health and emotional equilibrium, refusing to subject themselves to toxic or damaging environments. Number 6. They never look back. When Sigma men put their foot down on an issue, they do it without looking back. The reason why they make such an absolute decision is because they take time to think about their actions. Don't forget that these men are characterized by their ability to be absolutely honest with themselves. They would have taken time to evaluate what happened and what they did wrong. A Sigma male is his own number one critic. He is always thinking about his actions and critiquing his own inadequacies. So when he arrives at a conclusion, be sure he had thought about the consequences thoroughly. Another reason why Sigma men may not give a second chance is because they have a high sense of progressiveness, and going back to the same mistakes is not acceptable to them. It is always likely that those who show disrespect would do it again, and those who offend would likely repeat it. So the important question for Sigma men is to determine if they are willing to accept the same offense again. In the case where these Lone Rangers think it is not worth going through the same experience over again, they would not only cross the bridge, they would also burn it, so they don't give an opportunity for the offense to be committed again. Number 7. They take honesty to a brutal level. Honesty is hard to swallow for most people because they don't want to be shamed for what they have done wrong. This means people often get away with misbehaving. But Sigma men would not accept this. They would say things without mincing words. This can be very unsettling for those who wish to have their sins buried. Sigma men would not play nice with the truth. Expect them to express themselves without restraint and without sugarcoating the truth. Truth hurts and would expose people for who they truly are. Sigma men are not reactionary when they're mad. They are tactical, and they go for maximum impact. This could make them dangerous, but when you really think about it, resolution with these men is easy for those who can take responsibility. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and watch this one as well. Thanks for watching.